Hey guys, it's Alex here, and today I've got another After Effects tutorial for you. And today I'm going to be going over how to composite an explosion into a scene or a cinematic or whatever. So you can see here, we've just got this cinematic. I've already done a tutorial on how I made all the glass shatter out, so how to recreate the glass and then make it sort of suspend in midair. And I've also done a tutorial on how to make all the glass pieces then form some text. But now today I'm going to be going over how I made these explosions in the background and how I composited them in and made them look so realistic. So we shall jump straight into this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just got the composition clip and everything here. Actually, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my main composition and I'm just going to delete let me just hide, let me just toggle these off. And now basically I'm just going to delete everything except the motion track, and we'll delete the glow. Now we'll just see what I got on my shine. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I'm just going to toggle them off, all the glass pieces. Actually, I'm just going to because we're just doing a I'm going to delete the glass as well. So basically all I've got here is I've got my clip with a motion track using the camera track and CS6. I did this in the previous tutorials with the glass, so if you want to know how I did it all, then just go look at that. But basically, yeah, we've got all of this motion track, pretty standard stuff, and I've got a no object just on the wall here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find the explosion I used. Now I'm using the Actions Essentials one, and be this one here, so I'm just going to drag that in. As you can see, we get this sort of side explosion. They're very good, just video code by Actions Essentials, that's why I'm using it. Or because this is going to be sort of slowed down and frozen, you can just go to Google Images, get a still image. It doesn't really matter too much, but basically because I had the glass exploding out, I just slowed it down. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how to composite it. So I'm going to just freeze frame it. We'll just find a good spot where it looks quite good. So I think probably about there, and we're just going to right click, time and freeze frame, or you can obviously just use time remapping and spread it all out a bit and make it slow, because I timed it up. If you see in my main, you can see how oh wait, hold up, I shouldn't have just done that. I'm just going to undo all of this quickly, guys, sorry. Sorry about that, I apologise. So basically, I don't, because I'm actually still working on, I didn't want to delete, that was the actual comment. So you can see how I slowed it down, timed it all up. That's basically with some time remapping. So I'm just going to duplicate this. I apologise for that. And I'm just going to quickly delete. We still want to know. Right, my bad. And just find our explosion again. Drag that in. Okay, sorry. So basically, yeah, you can time it all up, so you can Twixtor, time remap, whatever. Basically, that's pretty standard. If you don't know how to, just type in a tutorial of time remapping, or a time stretch, whatever. So we have our thing here. I'm just going to probably freeze frame it about there. So we just have a still image of our explosion. And I'm going to turn that off for the moment. Now we want to make this look like it's sort of behind these bars here, and we can do that by making a matte. Now what we need to do is I'm just going to go forward where that pole's out of the way. So we'll say we'll just hit B, so we're starting about here. So I'm just going to make a new solid, and we're going to call this explosion matte. And it doesn't matter what color it is. And we're just going to get our pen tool, and basically we're just going to want a mask. I'm just going to put this up into full without making a mask. And basically we're just going to want to mask round the parts that we want it not to be shown. So I'm going to go all the way down here, come all the way across, and come up and across here, and basically I want it to still sort of leak out of the top, because if you look in my main here, you can see that it still sort of overlaps the top, but I don't want it to go anywhere near the bottom. So that is why I am masking all along the bottom. But because I would normally mask across here, but that would mean that everything would be covered and it wouldn't be able to sort of leak out. So I'm just going to do these little bars just so it can actually poke out the top, like so. So basically you're just going to want to do this, or whatever your clip is like, and so you make it look like it's sort of real if there's any parts that need covering, because I want the explosions to look like they're actually happening in this hallway. So I would want the mat to be covering up the bottom, so it looks like that. So what I'm actually going to do is, just to save time, so you would have that all masked, and you would want to go to the mask path, go forward, and then you would want to just use your select tool and just realign all of these, drag them back across, so then they're keyframed and they would hopefully stay. But you would want to do a lot of adjusting. But to save time, I'm just going to actually find my explosion mat, which is here, and I'm just going to copy that, bring that in here, and basically that's just to toggle it on. You can see we just got this. But what I actually did was I went into my composition here, and I had this, but I wanted these to still sort of be there, but I didn't want there to be them there fully. So I turn the opacity down to 50%. That will make it slightly see-through, but I still wanted the bottom to be solid. So I made another solid and just keyframed it, so it looked like it was still at the bottom, and that was our full 100%. And nothing would be leaking through that. And then just pre-compose them together and drag that into its own composition, so they were one layer into here. As you can see, I've keyframed it all, so they are all staying, and you've got on the bars, there's the little grey solid, like so. And now what we can do is we just toggle that off, because you don't actually need to see that, and we can drag that above our fireball. Now what we can do is, I'm actually going to go layer and pre-compose our fireball, explosion, whatever, and we will move all attributes into a new composition, like so. So now we have it in its own composition. So we're just going to open that up, and what we can do is I've also got a dust wave here, and we can drag that in. And if we were just to drag that on top, you can see that we got some dust, but it's actually facing the wrong way at the moment. So I'm just going to go transform and flip it horizontally, and now we're just going to want to sort of position it up a bit so we get this sort of dust. Just probably mess around with it until we get something looking quite good. And now what we can do is, you can see we get this harsh edge, so we can just get a rectangle tool, go along there, hit F, and just feather it so we don't get as of a harsh edge as before. Oh, sorry, we want to make it subtract, like so, and then just do a tiny bit of feather. Just gets rid of that harsh edge, like so. So that means, by pre-composing it, you can essentially add anything you want to it. And because we are, I'm just going to freeze frame this also, just because we're doing a still image. Obviously, you may want to use time remapping, Twixt, or whatever, just to time it up to make it fit your scene, or you may just want it to look like it's frozen, which I'm going to go for now. So there, we've just got that frozen. I mean, you can make any adjustments you want. You see, you can add glow or whatever, curves, color correct it. But basically, we now have that. So we can then toggle that back on. We just got a bit of dust, you can't really see anything. But okay, so we got our fireball. Now we're going to want to try and put that in 3D space. So we can press F4 or hit the toggle switch down here and click on our 3D cube. Now you can see it's gone over here. That's because it's slightly forward in the Z space. So basically what I've done is I've gone onto my motion track clip. I'm just going to delete that. And on the camera tracker, and we can just pick a point that's along here. So we could pick this one here that looks like it's a decent track is staying there, and we know that's in the right position because it is literally in front. So we can just create a new null, and it's going to make a new camera, but let's delete that. I'm just going to delete that other null there. So now we have this null here, and that's all motion tracked in and looks good. Basically we can hit P on that null, copy that, and paste it onto our fireball. So now what that's going to do, that's going to put the fireball in the same position as the null. And as you can see, it is motion tracked very nicely. So now what we can do is we can just mess around with our fire, get it in position. Now you may want to rotate it very slightly. For me, I want it to make it look like it's coming out of the building, but you do not want to rotate it all the way around, because then you start to lose the perspective, and as you will start to fly past, you'll be able to see that it's just a 2D layer, and it's not, you know, it's not real. So you only want a tiny bit of rotation. I would say no more than 25, just so that as you go past it, you can't actually tell that it's there. So now what we can do is we can you can see that it's not, that the bar isn't in front and it's overlapping here. So what we can do is, we've got our matte here, we can just turn that off with the I key here. We can hit F4 again, so we get up our track matte options here, and we can set the fireball alpha inverted of the explosion matte. So as you can see now, that is stuck behind it, and that bar is also gone slightly in front. So wherever we move this, it's now going to be stuck behind it, like so. So now what we can do is, basically all I did was, you're just going to want to duplicate them both. Now you're going to make sure that you only have your fireball selected, because if you start to try and move both of them, it's going to move your matte off. So now the matte is completely out of position here. So you would only want to just move the fireball. So we can move the fireball around. So we can move that one forward a bit. And now, because you want to randomize it a bit, what I did was I typed in turbulent displace. We can drag that onto our fireball, and you just want to make it look a bit different, so you can mess around with the evolution a bit until you get, and the amount and complexity, until you get something looking a bit different. And I just basically duplicated it again, dragged it along, push it back slightly. Oh, sorry, see, you gotta be careful. Do not click on the matte. So we'll just move that back a bit, like so. We can just mess around with the amount, like so. So we get something different again. As you can see, they're just staying there in the 3D space and look really nice. So basically, all I did was just copied them all the way along, like so, which I'm sure you can do. Now, to make this looking real, what I made was a new adjustment layer, and we can call this explosion glow, like so. And we can just get unpen tool, and obviously if you had all the explosions going all the way down here, you would want to mask around it, but basically we're just going to do a rough mask, leaving a bit of space around our explosions like this. And basically now what we can do is we can type in glow, or go stylized glow, drag that onto our adjustment layer. Come on, oh god, Jesus. Alright, there we go. Okay, so we get this glow here. Now I'm going to turn down the intensity, maybe 0.3, something like that. And we can change the original colours to A and B colours. So down here we can pick our own colours. And we can make the first one just a nice sort of orange. And we can make the second one a sort of lightish red, sort of reddy orange colour. So we get this sort of glow. Just play around with the intensity of it, leave it at 0.5, and then what you want to do is you just want to up the radius of the glow, so then we get this sort of glow all around it. And then basically you're just going to want to feather the mask by about 200 pixels. And as you can see, we get this, if we just toggle that off and on, you can see that we get this sort of fall off, really nice glow coming around. Just makes it look a bit more realistic, because it's actually sort of reacting with the environment. Because as you can see, if there was fire, that would be sort of lit up, and that just does it. And then also, just to make it even more realistic, we can make a new solid, and we can make this a bright orange. Make it tan, like so. So we can make an orange solid, and we can just toggle that off. Grab our pen tool, and basically I'm just going to mask along these parts, this part here, because I know that this would be lit up if there was an explosion. You just got to look around your scene and see what would probably be lit up if the explosion was there. And I could do a slightly curved thing like that, just to give it a bit of variation. So now you would see that we have these orange solids, and that's where I think the fire would be sort of lighten up the scene. Obviously, if you're using a different cinematic, then it's going to be different for you. But now what we can do is we can change the blending mode to classic color burn. Actually, no, sorry, classic color dodge. And as you can see, we get, it doesn't look amazing at the moment, but then we can just drop the opacity until we get something that looks about right. Oh, and feather it by quite a lot to make it not as harsh. Same with this one here. So just feather it out so it's looks a bit better, and then you can just play around with the opacity of it until you get something that looks roughly right. And I'm just going to feather that top mask out a bit more. I think I'm going to scale up these explosions to about 1:15, like so. So now, by just adding those simple pieces of glow, you can see that it makes it look a lot more realistic, and it makes it look like it's actually there. If I was just to toggle both these off, that does not look realistic at all. But just by adding that, it makes it look so much more realistic. And basically, guys, that is the oh, that's my homework I just showed you. So that is basically the tutorial, guys. And then all I did was I just used a different type of explosion, a more front-facing one in this one here, and I've got some depth of field going on. I just used the front-facing one, exactly the same principle. Had to mask out the little bits to make it look like it's actually there. And yeah, so if you haven't seen the tutorials on the glass forming text and all that, then please go check those out. They were very cool tutorials, something very original. Now please don't copy these exactly, just, you know, mess around with it, see if you can get something looking really cool. Just experiment with it. So yeah, that is the tutorial, guys. If you have any questions, then feel free to leave them in the comments, because I understand that this is very advanced, especially this scene here. Like I said, I had all my elements going. You've then got, I did some depth of field, so it's slightly blurred in the background. So I've got this depth of field map here. Then we've got camera blur, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, that was quite extremely advanced, and I doubt I'd ever be able to fit that in one tutorial. But yeah, that is basically the tutorial, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Please leave a like, and yeah, I want to see what you can create with this. Something a bit different, and I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, as I said, leave them down in the comments. And thanks a lot, guys. I will see you on the next tutorial and video, and yeah, thanks. See ya.